What's up, people of the internet? My name is Davicap, and today we've gotten the final hero reveal, Tinker, plus a little bit of artifact news, so stay tuned. Alright, so Richard Garfield in a recent video has unveiled Tinker. Tinker is a 7/5 black hero. His ability is Laser. 3-turn cooldown, deal 3 damage to a unit and disarm it this round. So I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like this ability. It's sort of a mix of utility and damage, and the cooldown's not that bad. You can use it on mana 6 and mana 9, which pretty much means you're going to be able to use it almost certain twice every single game. There's going to be some games where you're only going to use it once, but a lot of abilities you just can't use more than once because they're like 4 or 5 turn cooldowns, which is kind of insane. But Laser is low enough that you can use it fairly frequently. The disarm effect pairs really well with Tinker's body because 7/5 is, awesome attack, but really terrible health. So if you disarm a target, then you can trade into them fairly reasonably. You don't have to worry about your low health that much. As far as Tinker's body goes, it's kind of middle of the road, better than Lion, but certainly worse than Lich. It's, I guess, a little bit on the weaker ends of things. It's not super powerful, but it's kind of counteracted by its ability because its ability is pretty solid. His premier card is March of the Machines, 5 cost black improvement. Before the action phase, if there are charges on March of the Machines, remove 1 and deal 2 damage to the enemy tower and 2 damage to each enemy. So essentially this is Conflagration, except that it's in black instead of blue. It does 2 damage to the enemy tower as opposed to Conflagration, which doesn't hit the tower at all, and it only activates for 3 turns as opposed to infinitely with Conflagration. So that alone makes Tinker pretty solid because black does not have a lot of board clear. It's got Frost Chain, and off the top of my head, I can't really think of too many other AoE black effects. Most black is like single target damage, so anything with AoE in black is fantastic. Conflagration, we already know, is a really strong card in blue, so getting a similar effect in black is fantastic for black. Plus, it hits the tower, which black always wants to do because black is a really aggressive offensive color, and any sort of penetrating tower damage is fantastic. Sure, it's got the 3 charges, so eventually it's going to be useless and not do anything, but I mean, how many turns of Conflagration of March of the Machines do you really need? If you're playing this on mana 5, that means it's going to run out of charges after turn 8. And how many turns is the game gonna run past turn 8? You know what I mean? So I'm just not really sure how much the charges are gonna hurt it. I mean, certainly if you play it on turn 5, you're probably gonna run out of charges. But if you play it on turn 7, turn 8, then you're probably gonna end the game before the charges even really matter. So I wouldn't really worry too much about the charges. The tower damage is worth it, and just getting any sort of board clear in black is fantastic. So if you're looking for maybe a slower, more control focused black deck, then I would definitely consider Tinker. The targeted damage plus the disarm of his ability plus the board clear of his premier card makes him a pretty good control option, whereas virtually all the other black color heroes are kind of aggressive single target focused, so having a more AoE control focused hero is fantastic. I could see him pairing pretty well with Lich, not because the 2 cards have a lot of synergy with each other, but just because both of those heroes really like to control the battlefield and slow things down. And in other news, Valve has published a video featuring Richard Garfield where he explains what he calls upkeep kills, essentially all the cool, interesting ways that you can kill heroes besides just smacking into them in the combat phase. Specifically, he's talking about effects like March of the Machines or Conflagration, which allow you to kill heroes before they get to the combat phase. And that's, if you're not aware, extremely useful because that essentially takes out the hero for 2 turns as opposed to just 1 turn. Normally, let's suppose you got Axe and the Axe smacks into a hero and that hero dies. Well, then next turn they're going to be out of combat, and then the turn after that they're going to come back in. But if you got Conflagration or March of the Machines in a lane and that deals 2 damage to a hero and then they die, then that hero is out of that lane before they even get to do anything, before they get to attack, before they get to cast any spells. So it's essentially 2 turns of locking a hero down as opposed to just 1. So it's a really effective, super effective strategy. And I'm going to play the clip now for your enjoyment. And unfortunately, I will have to say the March of the Machines animation is pretty garbage. I don't think it's I don't think it's good at all, to be honest with you. I feel like the animators kind of need to up their game a little bit. I get that it's very similar to how it looks in Dota, but just, I'm gonna be honest, it looks almost like a mobile game effect. I'm not really feeling it. So check out the clip. That'll be it for today, because to be honest, I'm just sort of biding my time until the tournament this weekend, and we have tons and tons of content to discuss. So thanks for watching, and let's get into the clip.
My favorite way of eliminating an opponent's hero is what I call the upkeep kill, a kill that takes place even before the round's action starts.
You never stood a chance.
Eliminating heroes is not always equal. In general, eliminating them earlier in the round is better. If a hero dies in combat, it's not actually all that bad. They sit out for one turn and then they come back. If you eliminate them before combat, they're no longer delivering combat damage and they're not blocking any combat damage. You start putting pressure on them, taking away their ability to use any cards which they're enabling by being in the lane. So the best way to get rid of an opponent's hero is right at the start of the round before they've had the chance to act. Then the hero is effectively being lost for 2 turns. They lose the entire turn that they were eliminated, providing them nothing, and then they're out for a turn. One way to do that, which is my particular favorite, is what I call the upkeep kill. And that is where you have an improvement to the lane or perhaps a hero, which makes it so that before the start of the action phase, damage is being dealt, and that damage kills the hero. A good example of that is Tinker, which has an include card, the March of the Machines, which does damage at the start of the turn to all the enemies and the opponent's tower. Get that in place, then on the following turn, the hero is eliminated and you get yourself a double kill.